In this class, let us consider this theorem regarding the eigenvalues and eigenkets of Hermitian operator. In quantum mechanics, every physical quantity is represented by a Hermitian operator. So it's important to consider these properties of eigenvalues and eigenkets of Hermitian operator. This is the theorem. Eigenvalues of Hermitian operator are real, and eigenkets of Hermitian operator corresponding to different eigenvalues are orthogonal. So let us try to prove them, these two results together. So let's consider the proof. Suppose ket A prime and ket A double prime are two eigenkets of Hermitian operator. Okay, these are eigenkets of Hermitian operator. Let's say a Hermitian operator capital A, and the eigenvalue corresponding to this eigenket is A prime, and eigenvalue corresponding to this eigenket is A double prime. These eigenkets are labeled after the corresponding eigenvalues. So we can write, and one more point is, when we say that a particular vector is an eigenvector or eigenket, it is understood that this is not a null ket. Okay, this is not a null ket. Because if we consider a null ket as an eigenket, then the problem is that we can have infinite number of eigenvalues corresponding to that. Any scalar multiplied by a null ket is a null ket. Okay, so number of the eigenvalues corresponding to a null ket can be infinite. Any number of eigenvalues are possible. So a null ket is not considered as an eigenket. So when we talk about an eigenket of an operator, of a Hermitian operator, then it is understood that this eigenket is not a null ket. That should be kept in mind. Okay, and so then we can write this operator A, Hermitian operator A, acting on the eigenket A prime will give this eigenvalue A prime times eigenket A prime. Let's call it equation 1. Similarly, A acting on eigenket A double prime gives eigenvalue A double prime times eigenket A double prime. Okay. First of all, I take in equation 2, I am taking the adjoint of this equation, okay, or dual correspondence of this equation. Then let's see how it goes. This ket vector will become bra vector. A becomes A dagger. But since A is a Hermitian operator, A dagger is equal to A, so we have A itself here. Okay, so here we have used the result that A dagger is equal to A. Okay, this is equal to, here this ket becomes bra vector, and this A, this is a scalar. Okay, let us assume that it's a complex scalar for the time being. We have to prove that it is real. These eigenvalues are real. But in general, let's assume that it's complex. So if it is complex, when you take the adjoint, what happens? It becomes A double prime star. Okay, let's call it equation 3. Now what I am going to do is, in equation 1, let me multiply from the left with the bra vector A double prime. Okay, then what do you get? Equation 1 becomes bra vector A double prime operator A ket A prime equals, here A prime is a scalar, then when you take the inner product with A double prime, what you get is A prime times A double prime A prime. The inner product is with this ket A prime. Let's call it equation 4. Now come to equation 3. In equation 3, I am multiplying from the right with ket A prime. Okay, so the logic is when you multiply from the right with ket A prime, the left hand side will be exactly like this one. Okay, that's why we are multiplying from the right with ket A prime. So the left hand side becomes A double, equation 3 becomes A double prime, gravector A double prime, operator A. Then you are multiplying from the right with ket A prime. So, and here A double prime star, gravector A double prime, and from the right you have ket A prime. Equation 5. Let's take, find equation 4 minus equation 5. Okay, so this part is cancelled. Okay, this scalar and this scalar, this is a scalar, right? So this scalar and this scalar will be the same, so it will cancel. So on the right side what you have is this inner product and this inner product are identical, so we can take it outside. So what you get is A prime minus A double prime times gravector A double prime ket A prime is equal to 0. Equation 6. Okay, so we have this, there is a star here. So A prime minus A double prime star, this part is common, right, that we have taken outside. Inner product gravector A double prime ket A prime equal to 0. Now we have, let's consider two cases. Okay, first I will assume that this A double prime is equal to A prime. Let's see then what happens. So let us take A double prime is equal to A prime. Then what happens to equation 6? Equation 6 becomes, so here instead of A double prime I am putting A prime. So we have A prime minus A prime star, and this inner product becomes A prime gravector A prime ket A prime is equal to 0. Instead of A double prime I am putting A prime, and here also instead of A double prime I have used A prime. Now we have a product equal to 0. This part into this part is equal to 0. What about this part? This is the inner product of a vector with itself. Okay, so we know that inner product of a vector with itself is always greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and this is equal to 0 only if the ket A prime is equal to 0. But what is ket A prime? Ket A prime is an eigenket of the Hermitian operator A, and by definition an eigenket cannot be a null ket. So if ket A prime is not a null ket, then this inner product of ket A prime with itself is always greater than 0. Okay, so we can modify this. In this case, this inner product of a non-null ket, we can say inner product of a ket which is not a null ket is always greater than 0. So this part is always greater than 0. So it means that this product will become 0 only if this part is equal to 0. So this implies A prime minus A prime star should be 0, or A prime is equal to A prime star. Now this result, okay, we assumed that in general A prime can be a complex scalar. Now we have got the result that this complex scalar is equal to its own complex conjugate. In the case of a complex number, if a complex number is equal to its own complex conjugate, it happens only when its imaginary part becomes 0. Okay, so simply let us take that this A prime is something like x plus iy. Then A prime star is equal to x minus iy. So x plus iy equals x minus iy. This means that, okay, real part will cancel. We get 2iy equal to 0, which means y equal to 0. So a complex number is equal to its complex conjugate means that its imaginary part is 0. That means it's a real number. So this proves that this implies A prime is a real scalar, not a complex scalar. So this proves the first part of our theorem. Eigenvalues of Hermitian operator are real. A prime A double prime, A prime was the eigen value of the Hermitian operator. Remember, we started with this equation. A acting on ket A prime is equal to A prime times ket A prime. So A prime is the eigenvalue, ket A prime is the eigenket. And this A prime is now shown to be real, and this proof is applicable for any A prime, any eigenvalue. It means that eigenvalues of Hermitian operator are always real. Now consider the situation A double prime is not equal to A prime. Then what happens to equation 6? Equation 6 we can rewrite like this. We can remove this complex conjugate, because we know that A prime and A double prime, they are different, but both of them are real. Okay, so A double prime star will be equal to A double prime because eigenvalues are real. So we can write equation 6 as A prime minus A double prime, inner product of A double prime with A prime is equal to 0. This is our equation 6. Now here the eigenvalues are different, okay, which means this part is not equal to 0. They are different. Then this product is equal to 0 only if this part is equal to 0. So this implies this inner product of bra vector A double prime with A prime is equal to 0. Okay. Now this shows that ket A prime and ket A double prime are orthogonal to each other. This is the orthogonality condition. Inner product of two vectors are 0, then it means that the two vectors are orthogonal to each other. And this concept is a generalization of the idea of being perpendicular to each other in the case of physical space, in the case of three-dimensional space of physical vectors. Okay. So we have proved the second part also. Eigenkets of Hermitian operator corresponding to different eigenvalues are orthogonal. Here the eigenvalues are different, and eigenkets corresponding to different eigenvalues are orthogonal to each other, mutually orthogonal. And we can also normalize these eigenkets, okay, by dividing each eigenket by its own norm, right? So since we can always normalize an eigenket, then we have also shown here that eigenkets are orthogonal to each other. So we can assume that they are orthogonal as well as normalized. Okay. So for the inner product of two eigenkets is equal to, we can write delta A prime A double prime. This is the orthonormality condition. Orthonormality of the eigenkets. Eigenkets of Hermitian operator. If A prime is not equal to A double prime, as in this case, okay, if the two eigenkets are different, then they are mutually orthogonal. The inner product is equal to 0. They are orthogonal. On the other hand, if A prime is equal to A double prime, okay, put A double prime is equal to A prime to say, then the right hand side is 1. That means bra vector A prime, ket vector A prime will be equal to 1. That means the eigenkets are normalized also. Norm is 1. Okay. So this satisfies normalization as well as orthogonality. So we can assume that eigenkets of a Hermitian operator are orthonormal. They form an orthonormal set. Another property of the eigenkets of a Hermitian operator is this. They form a complete set of vectors. It's not the proof of this statement is not easy. It's not a direct. We cannot have a direct proof. So, for a quantum system, for every Hermitian operator, it is always assumed that eigenkets of the Hermitian operator form a complete set of vectors. So, we are not going into the proof now. Let's take it as a fact that eigenkets of a Hermitian operator form a complete set of vectors. So, what is a complete set of vectors? The number of vectors in the set should be equal to the dimension of the vector space. Then it's called complete set. Now, if you have a complete set of vectors, they can act as a set of base kets. of the vector space. On which this Hermitian operator is acting. Okay, so this Hermitian operator must be acting on some vector space. So if the eigenkets of the Hermitian operator form a complete set, that means the number of these eigenkets is equal to the dimension of this vector space. So these eigenkets of the Hermitian operator can be used as a set of base kets of the vector space. So a vector space can have infinite number of choices for the base kets. So this is one good choice. Eigenkets of a Hermitian operator can be a good choice of base kets of the vector space. So which means that if it's a set of base kets, then any general vector, okay, let us say ket alpha, we can express as a linear combination of these base kets or eigenkets of Hermitian operator. So we can write it as summation over a prime c a prime ket a prime. So this set of ket a prime are the eigenkets of the Hermitian operator, and we know that they are orthonormal, right? And they are also complete, so they can be used as base kets, and a general ket can be expressed as a linear combination of these base kets. So we have already in 2 or 3 classes back, we have already discussed how a general vector can be expanded in terms of base kets. Now here the idea is the same. The only difference now is that this is not simply any base ket, but these base kets are eigenkets of a Hermitian operator which is acting on this vector space. So let us simply rewrite all the equations we have discussed. Some of the equations we have discussed in the one of the previous classes. I am going to rewrite in this notation of eigenkets. Okay, so this will make us familiar with the new notation. Okay, and as well as we will recast the ideas that we have already studied in this notation. Okay, so this is the idea. A general vector can be a general ket or general vector in the vector space can be expressed as a linear combination of eigenkets, which are the base kets of the vector space. And these Ca prime are the expansion coefficients. In general, they are complex. Let's try to find out this Ca prime. In order to get this Ca prime, what I am going to do is I am taking the inner product of this general vector with one eigenket A double prime. This is one eigenket in this set. Okay, you can think about this set as something like A prime, A double prime, etc. Okay, ket 1, ket 2, ket 3, etc. So I am just taking the inner product of this general ket with A double prime. So bra vector A double prime ket alpha is equal to summation over A prime we get C A prime okay. Now this is equal to, what is this? This is the inner product of 2 eigenkets, and since eigenkets are orthonormal, this must be equal to a Kronecker delta A prime A double prime. Now we have a summation here and there is a Kronecker delta. It means that in this summation only one term will remain. Okay, A prime can vary from 1 to let's say n, but only one term will be non-zero. Okay, because when A prime is not equal to A double prime, this Kronecker delta will be 0. So all those terms in this summation will be 0. Only in one term, A prime in this summation, A prime will be equal to A double prime. Then delta will be 1. Okay, delta A double prime will be 1. Then for that only this summation of that term only non-zero in this summation. So what is that term? Okay, when A prime is equal to A double prime, this is 1. What happens to this one? This becomes C A double prime. Okay, so when you take a inner product of a general vector with one eigenket, one base ket, we get this expansion coefficient. Okay, so we can say that this expansion coefficient is the component of this general vector along the direction of this base sketch. Again, the analogy of physical vectors in three-dimensional space we have already discussed. This idea of expanding a general vector in terms of eigenkets or base kets, it's just like expanding a general vector A like this: AXI, AYJ, AZK, where unit vector I, J, K are the base kets in a three-dimensional physical space. So this equation is analogous to this one. This is a generalization. And what about this? When you take the inner product of the general vector with one of the base kets, what you get is the component of this general vector along the direction of this base ket. How do you get this here? For example, when you take I dot A, inner product of a base ket with the general vector, inner product of a base vector with the general vector, what you get is AX, the component of general vector along the direction of this base vector AX. In the same way, the CA double prime is the component of the general vector along the direction of this base ket. Okay, so we can also say then what is A ket A prime alpha? This will be CA prime. This CA prime, okay, will be simply inner product of a component of ket alpha along the direction A prime, right? So we can rewrite this in this expression. Instead of CA prime, I am going to substitute this. So if we use this relation, instead of CA prime, if I write this inner product here, then this equation becomes ket alpha is equal to summation over A prime. So instead of CA prime, I am writing bra vector A prime alpha A prime, ket A prime. Okay, so this equation is the same as this equation. A general ket is expanded in terms of the base kets, which are the eigenkets of the Hermitian operator, and these are the expansion coefficient. What is the meaning of this? Each expansion coefficient, the component of general vector along the direction of each base ket or each eigenket. Now this expression, let's rewrite in this way. This being a scalar, I can write it here or here. Okay, so let me write it on this side of the ket vector. So how do you, what do you get is this ket I am writing first, ket A prime, and then this scalar I am writing. So A prime ket alpha. Okay. Now in one of the previous classes we have learned that this quantity ket alpha bra vector beta, this is an operator. We have seen that. Okay. If you look at this expression, see, this is in this form. Ket A prime bra vector A prime. This part is in this form. Okay. So you can look at this expression and you can say this is some operator times a ket. Okay, so a general ket is expressed as summation over base kets and some type of an operator times the ket. Okay, in this way also we can interpret it. And so if you look at this, you have ket alpha here, you have ket alpha here. Then the whole remaining thing, summation over A prime and this operator must be identity. So that means we can say summation over A prime ket A prime bra vector A prime must be identity operator. That means you multiply this ket alpha with identity operator, you get ket alpha. That's it. There is no change on the general vector. So this is an identity operator, and this relationship, okay, this relationship is the mathematical form of completeness of eigenkets. So completeness of eigenkets of a Hermitian operator can be mathematically expressed like this: summation over A prime ket A prime bra vector A prime is equal to identity. And this means that any general vector you can express like this. That means you can express like this or this. Any general vector you can express in terms of the base case. So the same idea is encoded here in this mathematical form. Okay, this is called the completeness condition or closure of eigenkets of a Hermitian operator. So the eigenkets of Hermitian operator have three important properties. They are the eigenvalues and eigenkets of Hermitian operator have three important properties. One is that eigenvalues are real. Eigenvalues of a Hermitian operator are real. Second, eigenkets of Hermitian operator corresponding to different eigenvalues are orthogonal. And we can also say that they are orthonormal because we can always normalize them. So eigenkets of a Hermitian operator are normalized, orthonormal. And thirdly, eigenkets of a Hermitian operator form a complete set. So they can be chosen as a base ket. Basis set for the vector space. It means that any general ket can be expressed as a linear combination of these eigenkets. Okay, and the completeness condition can be expressed like this. Let us consider this quantity projection operator. Okay, let us see what it is. Let us start with the quantity that we have just seen, that is this quantity. Okay, we know that this is an operator, but what is the action of this operator? Let us consider this operator acting on a general ket alpha. What is the result? Okay, now this is equal to, what is this quantity? Okay, maybe this quantity is a scalar, right? In the product of a base ket with the general ket. This is scalar, so maybe I can write it first. So A prime alpha, and this ket A prime I am writing here. Now this is what is this quantity? It's a component of ket alpha along the direction of this base ket. This we can call some C A prime, some coefficient, some scalar. So this I can write as C A prime ket A prime. Right? So we started with a general ket. This is a general ket alpha. We operated this operator ket A prime, bra vector A prime on this general ket, and we ended with this ket. What is this ket? A ket along this direction, ket A prime. So we started with a general ket and we ended up with a ket vector along the direction of this base vector. So that means the role of this operator, that is this operator, okay, the role of this operator is it selects that part of the general vector ket alpha along the direction of ket A prime, which is along the direction of ket A prime. So it selects that part of ket alpha which is along the direction of ket A prime. From this general ket, it selects a part of the general ket which is directed along the direction of ket A prime. So the role of this operator is to get from a general vector, okay, a part of its vector which is along a particular base ket. And remember, this base ket is present in this operator. This operator is constructed out of this base ket. It contains a ket and a bra, and these two are this ket is exactly this ket. Finally, what you are getting is a ket vector which is along the direction of this base ket. So this base ket is part of this structure of this operator. And this operator, because it selects a part of a general vector along a particular direction, okay, this action is a projection. A general vector is projected along a particular direction. Okay, so because of that, this is called projection operator. we use a symbol like this, capital letter delta A prime for this projection operator. So this is equal to ket A prime bra vector A prime. Okay. So this is a symbol for the projection operator. So the role of the projection operator is project a part of a general ket along the direction of a particular base ket. So if you have another type of projection operator, let us say ket A double prime bra vector A double prime, then what happens? It will finally select a part of this general ket along the direction of the base ket A double prime. Okay. And what was the completeness condition that we considered earlier? Completeness condition, we have written like this: summation over A prime ket A prime bra vector A prime is equal to identity. This was the completeness condition or closure. Now we know that this is projection operator. So completeness condition you can express in using the notation of projection operator like this: sum over all eigen kets, okay, of the projection operator is equal to identity operator. That is completeness condition. Let us consider an illustration of the usefulness of projection operator, also the usefulness of the completeness condition. Let us start with a ket alpha, a general ket alpha, which is normalized. Okay, so if it is normalized, inner product of alpha with itself should be 1, right? Because it is normalized. Norm is 1. Now let us try to rewrite this normalization condition. This is the normalization condition in terms of the components of this general ket along component of this general ket in terms of some given basis, in a given basis. Okay, so what is we have to choose a basis. Suppose our basis is a set of eigenkets of a Hermitian operator. Okay, so this we know that eigenkets of a Hermitian operator form a complete set, and hence they can be used as basis of the vector space. So this is our basis. So how do we express the normalization condition in terms of the components of this vector in this given basis, in the general ket in this given basis? We know that the vector addition, scalar multiplication, etc. can be expressed in terms of the components of the vector. Similarly, inner product also can be expressed in terms of the components of the vector, then in a given basis. Then this normalization condition should also be expressed in terms of the components. So how do we do this? Let's see how we can do this. So what I am going to do is, I am introducing, see, this is a complete set, right? What is a completeness condition? Sum over A prime, ket A prime, bra vector A prime is equal to identity. Okay, so I am introducing an identity operator here. In between this ket alpha, bra vector alpha and ket alpha, I am introducing identity. In terms of in the position, instead of this, or in the position of this identity, I am substituting this left hand side. Okay, so we have bra vector alpha. Instead of this identity, I am substituting this summation over A prime, ket A prime, bra vector A prime. Okay, and then you have alpha, this ket alpha. So this part we have substituted. Okay, this was the identity. This is equal to 1. Now let me take the summation outside. So sum over A prime, you have bra vector alpha here, you have ket A prime here, then you have ket A prime here, sorry, bra vector A prime here, ket alpha here. This is equal to 1. Now here, this is simply the complex conjugate of this. See, you have A prime alpha here, you have alpha A prime here. This is simply the exchange of the prefactor and postfactor, or bra vector and ket vector in this inner product. So this I can write as bra vector A prime ket alpha star. If you exchange the vectors in an inner product, it will become complex conjugate. Okay, here it is A prime alpha. Okay, now what is this A prime alpha, bra vector A prime ket alpha? It's the component of ket alpha along the direction of this base vector, which we can call C A prime. Okay, so here I can write summation over A prime C A prime star C A prime is equal to 1, or summation over A prime modulus C A prime square is equal to 1. Okay, so the normalization condition of a vector you can either express in terms of the vector itself, norm is equal to 1, or you can express in terms of its components in a given basis like this: summation over A prime sum over A prime mod C A prime square is equal to 1. So this is one of the illustrations of the usefulness of the completeness condition or usefulness of the projection operator. Okay, we can introduce an identity wherever we require, and we can substitute the completeness condition, and we can manipulate the terms to get the desired result.